What's good, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Speak On It. As you see, all three fellas is in the building on tonight. It's Biv, Dom, and my man Tim. Fellas, first of all, what's up, man? How y'all been, man? Life's life,
Life,
right?
man. Life is
One day
life.
at a
Busy.
time.
One day at a time.
I
That's all
hear
you
that.
say.
So,
Trying to keep everything moving.
Yes,
I hear
sir.
that, my brother. I hear that. And so, I know Dom's excited, tomorrow night, game one, World Series. Phillies, Astros. Um, big, I would say a big opportunity here for just Philly sports. Period. You know what I mean. But we're just gonna stick specifically with the Phillies. But you got a chance to now have back to back World Series champs from the same division. You know what I mean. And the Phillies had a long season. It was a rocky start. You fire your manager partway through the season. And here we are playing in the classic in October, man. Dom, man, you the Philly fan, man. How you feeling?
I'm loving it. I'm loving it. And I actually love our chances as well. I got some facts and some stats to back it up. But just just off the test, right? Um, I feel as though that we had the harder path to get here where we are. Um, being the last team, man, and then having to face I would say three monsters in St. Louis with the Cardinals. And then having to face y'all. Yeah, I mean y'all bats and y'all pitching staff, and then having to face that pitching staff and those bats in San Diego. I feel like we're battle tested. Um, I know Houston presents a different animal. I think Houston, as far as talent wise, is less talented than San Diego. I just think Houston's more disciplined than San Diego. They're a better team, but I don't think they got bigger bats than San Diego. I don't think they got better pitcher than San Diego, in my opinion. Um, I just think San Diego hasn't put it all together yet. So I think um, we're battle tested going through that gauntlet. Um, but then here's my stats. Like you said, who won the World Series last year as a wild card?
Braves.
Braves. Who they beat?
A lot of teams.
They beat Astros last year. Houston.
Yeah.
2019. Who won the World Series? Washington.
Nats.
Who they beat? Astros.
Stros.
7. Why not keep that trend going? You know what I mean? Let's keep that trend going. But stats wise, right? Since 1995, when they first introduced the wild card plan, 14 wild card teams have made it in. 8 of them have won the World Series. So if we did the math since 1995, that's more than 50% teams making it. And then when you do make it, it's more than 50% of the chance that they win. So I like our chances statistically to win it.
I like y'all's chances to win it because I just gotta. Certain teams just have a feel about it, and the Phillies have that feel. They just have that feel like they're just rolling, you know, because last game you could have just it felt like they was kind of like, yeah, we'll give you one. We give you one. And then it happened. Give up 4 runs in the top of the first, and then Mike Clevenger happens. We couldn't record it out. It was like, yeah. I don't like to use that term team of destiny, but sometimes it's fitting.
Feel like it.
Sometimes it's fitting. Like every time Philly needed a hit, they got a hit. You know, guys that have historically been bad in certain situations are flourishing right now in those same situations. I think James Segura got the monkey off his back. You know what I mean? Like everything is just lining up, in my opinion, for Philly, which is why I'm gonna go with the Phillies in 6.
For the most part, only person that's been here, and Bryce haven't been here, but who had playoff success or playoff even been in the playoffs. Sullivan Kyle, and he was injured the whole time, and Bryce, and he never made out of the first round. So we're talking about it feel like a team of destiny. It just feel like they all playing loose. They all playing loose, like, oh, this is what the playoffs feel like, and they feel like they
Yeah.
don't want to miss their chance. So I agree. I feel like it do feel like a team of destiny, and I also feel like we got history on our side because the Astros don't fare well in these situations.
Yeah, unless you hear some banging on some trash cans or something like that, you know what I mean. They give them an upper hand. But so, to mine, you want to get any input on this?
Phillies in 7. I don't
Phillies
have
is
no
love it,
explanation
love it. I get it.
whatsoever.
The season can't even be
Uh,
explained.
but I mean, like I tuned in to I mean this is the time where I watch baseball, so I tuned in, and I mean it's been a lot of parody that's been happening. So why not it be that in the World Series? So people are expecting the Astros to win. I'm assuming they're the favorite.
Hmm.
But we all know that when it comes to the postseason, it's a different season. It doesn't matter what you did in the regular season. It's all about what you do when you get there. And they're here. And they're hot, they're rocking and rolling. And normally in all sports, especially with baseball, man, when the team gets hot, man, they can go on like a 10 game, 20 game. Well, I ain't gonna say 20, but nice little game winning streak. And I think the Phillies is on a hot streak right now. So I just say Phillies in 7 just to be intriguing, but I just think the Phillies are going to win in general.
I do want to say one thing. What this real quick, manager. I think this is when manager chess matches matter, and I feel like us starting Aaron as opposed to Zach the first game is a chess piece that I love, and I feel as though that with the Astros, Dusty, he shouldn't start. He shouldn't start Verlander the first game because I feel like one Verlander struggles in the World Series. Even in this series, even in this postseason, he got like a 6 ERA. But if you get to him in that game one, I feel like that set the tone for the whole series, which is what the Phillies been doing. They've been getting to pitchers aces game one and setting the tone for the rest of the series.
Yeah, Dusty's probably thinking 147 for Justin if it goes that far. You're gonna probably try to get at least 3 starts out of him. Um, that's just my opinion.
I agree,
Uh,
but I
based
think
upon
I
him
think
starting
that's the wrong way
game
to
one.
look at it, in my opinion. But
But um, it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see again because I know me and you talked about it. I was not the Phillies bats to me was not a concern, man, because those guys are just gamers. You know what I mean? Whether you're talking about JT, whether you're talking about Reese, whether you're talking about Bryce, those guys, Kyle Schwarber, like those guys are just gamers. Moments happen, they're gonna step up, they're gonna make plays at the plate with the bat in their hand because they're just gamers, man. But we're gonna move on talking about expectations. I think we at least most all 3 of us probably at least picked Tom Brady to make the playoffs. Aaron Rodgers, I think some of us was a little iffy on. But what would the playoffs be in the NFC this year without both Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers?
changing of the guard. I need to go back and check our notes. I don't know if I picked Tom Brady, but I might have because by default.
I think some people at least picked him as a wild card.
I,
I
I
know I
feel
didn't pick him to win the division. I picked the Saints to win
yes,
the
a wild
division.
card.
I really said that too.
I think it would be a changing of the guard. Especially because I think the type of quarterbacks that will actually get in with a Jalen, a Dak, possibly, with the Giants, Kirk Cousins. I think Jalen and um, Jalen and Daniel Jones will make it interesting because they're not traditional pocket quarterbacks. They're rollout quarterbacks. So I feel like that would say a lot as far as changing, as far as you can win with that style of quarterback. It would say a lot to me. Um, but I just think they had their time. Tom Brady and Rodgers, they had their time, and to me, it shows who Aaron Rodgers is because without a weapon or without a stud, Aaron Rodgers look average. He doesn't look like an MVP. He doesn't look like a guy that can elevate the play of somebody of young players. He's always had a stud wide receiver, and when the years that he didn't have stud wide receivers, he looked average.
I mean, I think that we all thought that the Tom Brady was going to keep being at the high level that he is, but I also think that the off the field is affecting what's going on with him as well. Um, and I mean, the one thing that you can't beat is father time. And I mean, I think for both of them, they're past their prime. Um, I know we all expect them to be at the level that they have been consistently, but for the most part, I mean, we kind of seen a drop in Tom Brady last year, but it's just like that cliff that Max Kellerman talked about, and
6 years in the making, man.
yeah, he was ahead of his time, but um, it might be that cliff. And I just think with Aaron Rodgers, I mean, we all seen where they picked the quarterback in the first round. So I think that this is a mixture of not really wanting to be there and them not keeping Devontae when they was like, yo, I'm not. He was like, I don't want to play unless Devontae here, and then Devontae's gone. It's kind of like anything he says, they do the opposite. So I don't even think that he's really in it per se. And he feels like, I mean, you got me out here with these young wide receivers. Like, are you guys really wanting to win? Because we had a number one wide receiver. We've been a couple pieces away from getting to where we need to get to, and then all of a sudden you just continue to focus on the running game when you have this quarterback and this wide receiver duo that does incredible things. It doesn't make sense. The front office seems like they're going in a different direction, and this season is indicative of it. And I don't think that Aaron Rodgers is all the way there.
So interesting that you said that because I remember at when Tom Brady first announced that he was coming back, I said it's not gonna go well because he's not sold all the way in. And to hear you say that about Aaron Rodgers is interesting because at times he does look disinterested. He does look disinterested, and I didn't expect I didn't expect them to be good, but also didn't expect them to be losing games to teams that they probably shouldn't be losing to. That's just real, you know. Losing to the Commanders, yeah. If I was a betting man, I would have bet that game. That would have definitely been on my ticket. Book it. Aaron Rodgers is going to go beat the Commanders, but it didn't happen. So does either one of them? Only because it looks like Tom Brady still has a shot because of the division. Does Aaron Rodgers still have a shot? Can he go on a run to make the playoffs?
It's going to be when it's going to have to be to where the Vikings fall off. Because if the Vikings are stay consistent, then there's I don't even see them making the playoffs.
So he can't go get one of those Those three wild card spots.
Two of them things. Two of them things reserved for the East.
I was going to say, not the way the NFC East is looking. Not the way the NFC East is looking. So,
Two
Because
of them
yeah,
things
it's
reserved
looking
for the East.
tough. Because, I mean, they had their beatable, their winnable games have been thus far, like you said, the Commanders. People didn't expect them to lose against the Giants in London. So, like, these are winnable games that you thought that they were going to win outside of their division. Along with now, you got the Bears that's trending upward. People are still waiting for the Lions, but they keep being in competitive games. And the Vikings is looking like the division champs right now. So
finally, um,
Yo, let's keep it a buck. Let's keep it real. The Packers should be 1-6. They struggled against Tom Brady when Tom Brady had no wide receivers. That was 12. That game finished 12-14 on a last second breakup on a 2-point conversion. And then they struggled against Bailey Zappi and won in overtime. They should have lost both those games.
yeah. So if that's the case, I think we all have already said Tom Brady will not be back, at least in Tampa next year. Is
Tom
Aaron
Brady
Rodgers
got
in
it
Green
over.
Bay?
Is Aaron Rodgers done in Green Bay?
Is Aaron Rodgers back in Green Bay next year?
If he wants to be, yes.
You said if he wants to be,
Yeah, if he wants to be, yeah.
if he wants to be, he won't be there. That front office is doing the opposite of everything he wants to do, bro.
They paid him
If he
4 years.
if he says they paid him, yeah, they paid him because they don't trust Jordan Love. But at the same time, it's like,
But that's
okay, so where are we going? Like if we finish 8 and 9, we could do that with Jordan Love.
So let's ask this. Let's be real, right? Um, did they give him a number one wide receiver? The answer is no. They didn't give him a wide receiver. Defense, they went heavy on defense. The defense lived up to haven't lived up to it. The coach, I don't know what the hell he doing because your best players outside of Aaron Rodgers are your two running backs. Yet you just want to pass the ball all day. So for me, in my opinion, they are tied to Aaron Rodgers. They tied to him. They're not just gonna get rid of him. Why? Because I don't know if I said this to y'all, but I said this somewhere. The Packers don't rebuild. In their minds, they don't rebuild. So to get rid of Aaron Rodgers, and to them would be a rebuild. They went from Brett Favre 15 years to Aaron Rodgers 15 years. They don't rebuild. So as long as Aaron Rodgers is there, he wants to be there. I think they should move on from him. But if he want to be there, I think the Packers, I think selfishly, and I think stubbornly, they're gonna keep him because they think they have a chance if he's there.
I mean, you said it first that they didn't get him a number one wide receiver. They did the opposite. They gave the number one wide receiver, arguably in the game, away. So what is that tell? Like, I get what you're saying as far as the not rebuilding, but if you want to take the quarterback situation how it was in the past, they no, was it Brett Favre that wanted to get out of there,
No,
or
they
did he
moved on.
want to stay?
He wanted. They wanted to move on. They had Aaron Rodgers in the waiting. They didn't resign him.
This is almost playing out the exact same way, honestly. Aaron Rodgers keeps going back and forth whether or not he's going to retire, whether he's going to play, you know, just like Brett. But unless they go out and try and get a number one receiver, or they spend a first round pick on a number one receiver, I think he retires. I think he retires. I don't see him going through what LeBron is going through right now. Just suiting up at this point, just because you're shooting up. LeBron don't love basketball this much. He don't. Not to be 0-4 non-competitive and keep playing. He don't. And you can see he doesn't have the reins of the franchise, because otherwise we would already be talking about a fire sale.
LeBron got one thing on his mind:
Catch a Kareem.
catch a Kareem.
That's it.
That's what
That's it.
motivating.
That's why he gets up in the morning. That is why he's lacing him up at this point.
Aaron already retired, in my opinion.
Yep. Unless they are gonna have, the Packers are gonna have to do something drastic to keep him. I believe he walks away. There's no reason for him to keep going out there getting beat up to finish second in the division, trying to get 500. It's not worth it.
I'm gonna say this: once you start contemplating retirement, you already checked out. You already checked out. So we seen it from Tom. We seen it from Aaron. Only person that contemplates retirement who's still looking good is Aaron Rodgers. I mean Aaron Donald.
So it's gonna be interesting with Green Bay. It's gonna be interesting with Green Bay going forward. Also, the pressure is on Minnesota still. They still have to be a competitive football team for the rest of the year. We've seen them get off the hot starts and then fall back to the pack before. So we'll see how it goes with those guys.
Well,
speaking of,
look at their schedule. Aaron Rodgers might catch him.
He can catch him. He can catch the Vikings. First Cousins is still First Cousins.
Mm-hmm.
He's Dalvin Cook is still Dalvin Cook. He can go down at any moment. So I say the Packers still have a shot. I say they still have a shot. But moving on, the Lakers. Russ DNP last night, hamstring injury. I think it was an experiment to see what they could do without him. Personally, the experiment failed. They look just the same, so you might as well let him rock. They're not going to win anything, but who wants to continue after every game, because they're still the Lakers? TNT, ESPN, they are not going to take them off the schedule. They still would be on your TV nationally, especially as we get closer to LeBron breaking Kareem's record. But who wants to continuously deal with the headache of what are you going to do about Russ? Is it time to take it on the chin, Jenny Bus, Rob Paleka, and just send him home?
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this real fast. Russ ain't the problem. I'm gonna say that.
You said send him home.
Yeah,
because you at this point, I really believe, because of this so much negative stigma around him, and on top of his age, on top of his contract, you're not gonna get that. They keep talking about the Indiana trade. Why now? Why am I gonna you're gonna have to give me a whole lot for me to take him? And I don't see the Lakers being willing to. You don't have much to give outside of him anyway. So now you're really gonna give them the house or whatever is left of it to move on from Russ. I don't think that that's a viable option. But at the same time, again, Darvin Ham is a first-year head coach. This is a lot on him to be dealing with night in and night out about a guy that it doesn't seem like even his teammates are consistently rallying around him. So, yes, send him home, man. You're
Yeah,
gonna pay him. You're gonna pay him either way because I guarantee you're not gonna find a viable trade until closer to the deadline anyway, which means you didn't pay majority of the contract anyway.
um, I think yes, if I would probably send him home or change the offense. I get Brian, you want to go for the record. You always have the ball in your hands, but it's time to take the ball out of his hands and put it in Russ' hands. Y'all want to play fast? I'm not. Me personally, I'm not having $44 million come off the bench. I'm not. And again, why I said Russ ain't the problem is because, like you said last night, Russ wasn't there. Y'all still can't shoot. Y'all still can't shoot. So he's not the problem. They making him the scapegoat. Yes, his antics sometimes. But if we're being real, I think he played 80 games last year. He showed up on a nightly basis. And then when Brian and AD didn't play, I think he averaged like 29, 8 and 8 or something like that. So he shows up and plays. It's just the roster construction is trash. But if you have that roster construction, you need to change the offense. Take the ball out of Brian's hands. I know that sounds crazy, but he's a better shooter than Russell Westbrook. He's probably a better secondary playmaker than Russell Westbrook. Like if you pass to LeBron, he'll make a right play. If you pass to Russ, he probably gonna do something stupid. But if you allow him to run the offense, run up and down, become fast paced, he's proven that he can win that way. Also, AD don't like playing center. He crying about that.
I don't blame him. I ain't like playing center either, but go
I'm just saying, like, if it's talking about being a team, why is Russ being the one that's scapegoated? And I get he has issues, but there are other issues on this team other than Russ. It's LA drama. It's like Hollywood.
Let's send LeBron and AD home and see what happens when it's just Russ and everybody else. I feel like Russ plays. I think Russ plays a lot better when it's just him.
I agree.
He always has.
I think that with you have three completely different personalities that have been number ones on their team, and they're not meshing well. I mean, it worked for a while, but especially with their age, I mean, we even when we seen it to where they signed Russell Westbrook, we was like, how is this going to work? Like it was doomed from the start because it's like both of them need the ball in their hands to make their team successful, and we're not playing with two basketballs. We're only playing with one, and I mean, you're gonna have Russ question LeBron. You're gonna have LeBron question Russ. And you're gonna have AD. It's just like, yo, can we make it 45 games? So, LA, man, it's you. Unfortunately, you got all that money there. So, and you have LeBron, who is still he's LeBron. So, TV's gonna follow him, and especially with him chasing the record, like you said, unfortunately, they're going to be on television, and hopefully they can get it together to where it looks slightly like what we thought it may look like when you see it on paper and say it's Russell Westbrook, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis all on the same team.
But see, that's the thing. Anybody with just an average basketball IQ know that it's not going to work. Even if all three of these guys were in their prime, this would not work. It wouldn't work. Yeah, you might win some games, make the playoffs, but they're not going to win a championship. Russell Westbrook's decision making is still the same. It's probably worse now simply because he's not the same athlete that he used to be. But him and LeBron, they're just not going to be able to coexist on the same court as teammates because their games just do not mesh together. They just don't mesh together. So
I got a question for you. Do AD and LeBron mesh together? Because outside of
honestly, no, I don't think their games mesh together either. Honestly, because one, AD wants to be on the perimeter versus the post, which is what Tamon was just alluding to. He doesn't want to play center. He wants to be out on the perimeter, which that's where LeBron wants to be. Like, no, neither one of them wants to go down low and be not necessarily primarily a post player, but at least play through the post at some point in time consistently. Both of them want to be out on the perimeter. Like, I'm not sure. And, again, winning just covers things up. They won the bubble championship, so people just kind of brushed everything else to the side, but their games to me don't mesh. And then you add on to the fact that at this stage of their careers, neither one of them can stay healthy for a very long period of time. Like AD is every time I turn around, he's grabbing his back, he's stretching his back. I feel like he's playing through injury to prove something right now. But I feel it coming. He's getting ready to have that long stint on the sideline. Because it's his back. And it's like he'll be fine when it's warm, and then he'll do something, tweak it, and he got to go chill for a little bit. So I'm not exactly sure. I haven't heard anything about his back or anything like that, but I seen him play against the Clippers, grabbing his back. I seen him playing last night against Denver, grabbing his back. So
he ain't gonna make it 82.
no.
He fell. I think he fell in the second game. I thought he was done.
Yep.
So I agree with you. I think he's just trying to prove that he's not injury prone.
Yep. So, but Russ to me, I'm with you on that as well, Dom. I think he's just the scapegoat. They won a championship. Things didn't go the way they went. They wanted it to. They brought him Russ, and now it's Russ' fault that they're not getting back to championship level. So, but what can you do if you're Russ? Except for just show up and do your best. And he's not the same athlete. He's the same player, same exact player. He's just not the same athlete, which is why you see him missing some bunnies that he normally makes. He's just not the same athlete. He's gonna have to take his time and make sure he get it off the square right. He can't just be flipping it up there and trying to figure it out. He's got to take his time now. He's not the same athlete that he used to.
See, in my opinion, like I think he was good in Washington. I think he was the same guy in Washington. I think he came to LA. It's like confidence. Y'all trying to change his game, and it's a confident thing. And I think, like what Tamon said, he needs to be the guy. You can't make him a third option. He needs to be the guy where it's just him and the team is built around him. This team ain't built for him.
Not at all. Not at all. Did not expect them to be 0-4, but that's where they are at this point. Speaking of 4, college football, man. College football. I'm gonna be honest with you. College football has been absolutely exciting. Absolutely exciting for me. Um, I don't know. I sent it out the four best teams in college football, and I got like seven straight up, man. I had like seven on the list. I was like, yo, I don't know which one of these teams do I is better than the other. I don't even know who the best team in the country is. I know who's number one. I know who's undefeated, but I don't know who the best team in the country is, man. I really don't.
This is how I looked at it. If I took them and I played them on a neutral site, who would win out of all of the teams? um, so I'm gonna give you this. I'm gonna say from 4 down. I'm like Biv, man. I'm like, dang, dog. I got like 13 teams already. But I'm trying to narrow down. This hurt me. Michigan 4. Michigan's number 4. I think what your running back is doing is crazy. Defense is solid. I got Georgia at number 3. I just don't believe in Stetson Bennett, and I don't think that their whole Stetson Bennett, and I don't think that as a whole that defense or offense has a guy. You know what I mean, Jalen Carter is and to some point Noah Smith, but that team last year was dominant in Georgia, and they got a good running game. Then I'm gonna go Tennessee at 2. Then I'm gonna go Ohio State at number 1, which really hurt me because I got two Big Ten people in there. But I wanted to go. I did want to give TCU love, but those are my 4.
Okay, can I get my 4?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Michigan. No, I'm messing. Um, y'all gonna say bias alert.
No, we're not, dude.
I got Ohio State at 4. I got Michigan at 3. I got Tennessee at 2, and I still got Georgia at 1.
I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. Like, I can't be mad at that list, man. I can't be mad. Nobody has been, in my opinion, nobody has separated themselves from the pack. Even with blowout wins against teams that you're supposed to blow out, that's not impressive to me. That's what you're supposed to do. Ohio State's supposed to blow out Iowa. Anything less is, I'm looking at you side-eyed. Like, what's going on? And I was looking at him side-eyed for the first quarter. Like, what's going on? But for me, I went Michigan 4. I don't think we have been consistent enough in the passing game right now to separate ourselves. We can't just rely on trying to run the football down people's throats and play good defense. The passing game's got to be more consistent for me. At 3, I went Ohio State. Again, for me right now, the other two teams, one is the defending national champion, the other one just has a resume that is really, really good, which is why I went with Georgia at 2. And then Tennessee, to me, has been the most impressive team. They haven't shown me that they're the best team, but they have been the most impressive team to me thus far this season. So
Yeah.
I went with Tennessee at 1.
I'm glad you said it. But I flip-flopped. I ain't gonna lie. I was like, Tennessee is the best team in football. And I kept telling myself, they can't be. Like, Tennessee, their resume, when you look at their resume, they are
Speaks for itself, man.
they are the best team in football. I just kept saying, like, Ohio State, they undefeated. If you look at their team, they balance, like passing attack, they got rushing attack. But I just looked at the teams, not the resumes.
Hey,
But
You gassing them there, all right?
I listen. Hey,
Well,
hey,
they got a now they got a
hey,
stretch
hey,
coming
wait.
up.
I said,
Nah,
hey, listen. Hey,
Their next
they
two
did.
weeks,
I'm
their
trying to do
next
some
two
reverse
weeks is
psychology for when we listen. We gonna do our picks. I'm trying to do some reverse psychology around here. Got gas them up. You know what I mean? So next week. So when we do this thing next week, I'm gonna have a whole different story. Like why my boys ain't in the top five.
so that being said, talk about picks and everything. Let's go ahead and let's make our picks. Man, first of all, hold on. Before we do that, let me give y'all the updated standings. You got Dom and Tim One is tied for second at 33 and 31. Dom went 4-4 last week. Tim One went 5-3. I went 5-3 last week as well, and I had just a 1 game lead at 34 and 30. So
Hey, before we move on, I'm gonna tell you how
still
Biv
tight.
cheating. I'm gonna tell you how Biv cheating me. He can't put two of my teams on the same ticket because I'm always.
Man, everybody has had it, man. Everybody has had it, yo.
He
Tamon
did because
had
he got
it.
the
He
Ravens.
had
He got
Michigan,
the
San
Ravens.
Francisco. I had Baltimore and Michigan. You got to get it too, man. You got to get it too. The only thing is, don't do what me and Tamon did. Pick with your head and not with your heart, because we both pick with our hearts, and we both and we both keep losing when we pick with our hearts with our
Hey,
heart.
when it come to them two teams, man, I'm picking them every time, man. Unless
Every
we're talking
time.
money.
Every
Unless we're
time.
talking money, then I'll be sensible. If it's a chance we might lose, I'm not betting. But if it's guaranteed, I'm like, okay.
So, with that said, let's start in the SEC with that team talking about Tennessee. They got a big one this week versus Kentucky. So, who y'all got?
Trap. It's a trap game. Um, but I got Tennessee.
Speaking of trap, that Young Jeezy album is pretty okay from what I heard
It's
so
tough.
far.
It's tough. It's all right.
So far, um, I'm going Tennessee. I really think that I forgot the quarterback's name. I think he's the dark horse or yeah.
He's a front
He
runner. Yeah.
he's
Hitler.
front runner now, but I mean, like he had the C.J. Strouds and all the other names. I think my man is running out here for a Heisman. I think this one is just going to be a stamp. I think that Alabama game was the breakout game that all the Heisman have. So I think this one is going to be. I ain't gonna say light work, but it's going to be a little bit more than what the experts say as far as the dub. So I'm picking Tennessee.
Last Friday, Woodbridge alumni and current Kentucky Wildcat Noah Matthews came and talked to the boys before our game. So I'm gonna go with Kentucky, man. Shout out to Noah, man. I'm gonna go with Kentucky, man.
There you go. Picking with his
It's
heart, man. I
just,
tell you, man.
huh?
I said, there you go.
What?
Picking with your heart.
Hey man, ain't nothing like a Matthews from the area.
Hey, man. Like I'm gonna go with my youngin, man, and I'm gonna go with Kentucky, man. Next game. It's outside of the Power Five. This is an American Conference game. Cincinnati and UCF. Who y'all got?
I got Cincinnati.
Someone?
Oh, you ain't even gonna say why?
Defense. They ranked number 24th in the no, they're not. They ranked number 21 in the nation. I got Cincinnati because their defense
Okay.
and that running it.
I've got UCF. Reason being is because Cincinnati last couple weeks have eked out of games that I feel like they should have won handily. Um, and I think UCF has a very good ball club, and they're playing at home. So um, I don't think that Cincinnati is going to eke out this one. So UCF in a close one.
I'm gonna go UCF as well. Um, even and they are favored right now. They are favored technically, only by a point and a half, which basically is Cincinnati. Cincinnati's really the favorite, but I'm gonna go UCF. Uh, Home team. I think Cincinnati is. I think they're still a really good team, but I still think they're living off the reputation of what they have been doing the past 2 years. I think I think UCF wants to get back into that fold and start running that conference again in the American. So I'm gonna go with UCF. All right, next one, big game in the Big 12. I feel like Oklahoma State. I feel like they've been on a ticket like every week.
Every
They
week.
really
I
do.
feel like
But they've been playing a top 25 team like every week, it seemed like. And this week, they're on the road versus Kansas State and Oklahoma State. They burn me on the road when I pick them, and then they do me right when they at home when I pick them. So I was a little torn on this one, but I went with Oklahoma State.
I'm gonna say this. I've picked against Oklahoma State every week and won once. Won once. So I'm gonna go with Oklahoma State.
So I'm so glad that both of y'all pick Oklahoma State because this is going to be the game that I get one up on everybody. So I'm picking Kansas State. They
All
they
right.
they play
I
pretty
wanted
well.
to mine band, but they beat me every week.
Hey, stay over there. Stay on that side. Stay on that side.
All right. And our last college football game that we're going to pick is the big one in Penn State this week. It's noon kickoff, which is always fun. Ohio State, Penn State. Dom, we know you got Penn State, but you can go ahead and give us a breakdown on why you think Penn State's going to win.
I'm going to Ohio State because I need my boys to win.
Reverse psychology, huh? Reverse psychology. I feel you.
Nah, but listen, I'm always gonna pick Penn State no matter what. Like you said, that's my squad. But if we're being real with you, man, I ain't listen. I don't feel good about it. We got James Franklin and we got Clifford. My running game been solid.
That is not a good quarterback coach combination, huh?
Our best quarterback on the bench. My man just been there for 6 years. So that's why I'm gonna say this and then we're gonna move on. Probably the number one quarterback in the nation, who many say the number one quarterback in the nation, is Will Levis. He was on Penn State behind Sean Clifford, and we got rid of Will Levis for Sean Clifford. I'm gonna just move on. Go ahead.
All right. So that sounds like some internal issues that he got with his fandom with his team. It might be an unbiased alert or how that I don't know, but I'm going Penn State. I think that Penn State is going to get up for this game. They're playing at home, and this is the last time to really show that you are legit in the Big Ten. You had your shot against Michigan, that didn't go over well. So here you have Big Dog coming in your house. And I'm pretty sure that Ohio State is favored, probably by is it single digits, double digits?
15 and a half.
That's extremely disrespectful. You playing at home like y'all only lost one. Y'all only got one loss, right?
Yes, to y'all.
Okay. No. Hear me out though. You're a one loss team and you're the underdog at home by more than 2 touchdowns, you telling me you would be pissed? I'm picking Penn State, bro.
Bruh. I don't care how
Come on,
pissed you are.
we're not picking against the
I
spread.
know we're not picking the spread. I'm picking Penn State points, all of that. Penn
Bruh,
State, Nittany Lions, go
we led the
Nittany
nation.
Lions, go.
We was giving up 2.3 yards per rush. Y'all ran for 4. Y'all still running. Y'all still running right now. Can't trust it.
I said what I said.
I really was torn by this. Honestly, I really was. One, Penn State, even last week against Minnesota, they weren't really impressive. But there's something about Penn State and Ohio State, man. It's just something of it, they keep it close, and then something stupid happens. You know, a block field goal that gets returned, and somebody go on to win something crazy like that. If this was Happy Valley at night, I would have picked Penn State. I feel the same way about Happy Valley at night that I feel about Death Valley at night, whether that's Clemson or LSU. But it's a noon kickoff, man. It's a noon kickoff, man. Give me Ohio State.
I'm with you. If it was Death Valley whiteout game, Penn State all day. I
I
thought
would
it
have
was
took
something
them.
about Michigan. I thought it was something about Michigan and Penn State. Then they ran for 5,000 yards on this last time we played.
So, all right. Moving on to our NFL picks. All right. The shockingly 5-2 Jets host the Patriots. Does Bill Belichick and his 2-quarterback system beat the Jets?
I'm gonna say this. I'm glad we did this after Monday game because swayed me. I'm the Jets. Jets.
Even without the Monday game, I'd have went Jets, bro.
Really?
Like the Patriots to me is inconsistent, and I think that the Jets is trending up. Even though their running back Bryce Hall,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
he's out, but
But
they've just been finding ways to win games. And I mean, the quarterback play has been decent. It hasn't been above average, but for it to be decent and them being 5-2, it's just like, okay, if he just catches on, then they're going to be a solid team. And I think that the Patriots just have too many question marks. And I told y'all, man, I really think Bill Belichick trying to sabotage that franchise, man. So I'm taking the Jets.
I think Bill got one thing on his mind too. He trying to get the all-time win record. After that, he out.
So y'all know I've been high on the Jets all year. I was high on the Jets in the offseason, in the preseason. And I'm gonna stick with them. I'm gonna go with the Jets. I was thinking that sometimes you just got that stigma. Like Bill Belichick's been in New England, he's been running that division for so long, but I think nobody fears them anymore. I think that has definitely left the building, and because of that, I was gonna go with the Patriots, and then the game against the Bears happened, and then I was like, "Oh my God, this is they're really worse than I thought they were." So yeah, I'm gonna go with the Jets as well, but that's not good for us because every time we all pick the same team, that team loses. So we'll
Except
see
the
if that
Eagles.
trend.
Oh no, you
Except for the Eagles.
picked the Cowboys.
No, I picked the Cowboys. That's right. So let's see if that trend continues with that. So the Giants and the Seahawks. Who would have thought this game would be a potential playoff matchup? Who would have thought that?
Yeah, who would have thought that?
So who y'all got? Giants, Seahawks.
Well, we know what mine going.
Wow. Just
I don't
because
know
the
what this
guy,
nigga get. You do pick
just
against
because,
all the NFC West teams, dude.
I mean,
You
like,
pick against all of them.
no, I've picked the Rams before, but I mean, in
You
this
did
in this
play the
game, I
Seahawks.
really say that again.
I said, was they playing the Seahawks?
It might have been. I don't know,
That don't
but
count. You still playing against the NFC West team.
uh, uh, uh oh man, now I forgot who the Seahawks is playing. Who? Oh, the
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 Giants.
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 I'm picking the Giants. Um, it's not because of the disdain. I really think the Giants are a very good ball club. They've been knocking off teams that we felt like they were going to lose to, and I feel like that coach and just the energy and what they got going on there and whatnot. I think it's going to be a little too much for Gino and them. So I'm taking the Giants.
This was tough. I can't even lie. I can't even lie. My heart is saying the Giants, but my head is telling me to take the Seahawks. I feel like I feel like the 12th man can have a factor in this game. That crowd in Seattle can have an effect on this game because we haven't seen Daniel Jones play bad. I got a feeling that we're gonna finally see it this week, and
What do you mean?
that's
We've
why
had a few seasons of seeing him play bad.
I'm talking about this year, man.
Oh, okay, okay.
Of course,
I will say this.
they've been terrible,
I will
but
say this.
so I'm gonna go with the Seahawks.
I think it's going to be ugly. It might be ugly in Seattle. The Giants haven't faced a pair of wide receivers like this. The Seahawks scoring 27 points per game. They haven't faced an offense like this.
Whoop de doo. I'm messing. Go ahead, Jeff.
We gotta get that bias alert button. We gotta get it.
But so, of course, I'm going to pick against the Giants because I want the Giants to lose. But I think the Seahawks, they got two wide receivers. They got good running game. And that number one corner they got playing out of his mind right now. So I'm gonna go with the Seahawks. And they playing in that 12th man. It's gonna be
So you
crazy.
talking about my bias.
Takes one the new one, man. Takes one the new one.
I need to. If I see Don pick the Cowboys, boy, I know something's gonna happen the next day. I need to look outside and make sure that the world is spinning.
I'm gonna need him. I'm gonna need when he picks the Cowboys. I'm gonna need him to give me the 8 digits on the bottom of his screen so I can go play them in the lottery.
I probably got COVID or something like that.
All right, so now we can get to some other bias alerts. All right, 49ers Rams. Come on, go ahead, get yours out the way.
49ers.
All right,
This one's tough. This one is tough. Rams been looking like doo-doo, and the 49ers look like an offensive team since they got C-Mac. They don't not play defense no more. So
it was 1 week chill, man.
That was
We
against the
played
Chiefs.
Chiefs.
That was against the Chiefs, though.
Come on now.
listen. Everybody was equal opportunist out there against y'all. Everybody.
It was, but don't discount the Chiefs. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm supposed to be quiet while you say your pick. It's just that you.
They got Cooper Kupp in them. Oh man.
Who is in them? I'm sorry. Let me
Cooper Kupp and the boys. Like it's Cooper Kupp and the boys. You know what I mean. Oh shoot. Who did I pick? I'm gonna say it's in LA, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Rams. Coming off a bye week in LA. It don't really matter because it's probably gonna be mad 49er fans there. So I'm gonna still go with the Rams though.
I'm going with the Niners.
Yes.
Whatever reason, man, they just seem to own these teams. So go with the Niners. I think they figure out how to use Christian McCaffrey a little better this week with having him for a full week of practice. And I think the defense gets back to playing their type of defense after some excitement. You know, they had a little excitement in the building. They got a little, probably just a little overzealous going into last week. And that's not a good thing to have when you're playing against the best quarterback in football, or arguably the best quarterback in football. No disrespect to Josh Allen. No beef. No one, no smoke with nobody that's a Josh Allen fan. But but I think the Niners get back to playing that type of football this week and get that dub. All right. And here we go. Undefeated Philadelphia Eagles host the Steelers. Does this win streak come to an end? I know Don's gonna say no.
Everybody on the panel better say no. We ain't see the Steelers last week. Week before, like they beat the struggling Buccaneers, and the Buccaneers lost to the Panthers. Like, yes, we're gonna dominate. We're gonna dominate the Steelers. Who are out here dominating the Steelers?
What do you mean? They got two of the best wide receivers in the league. You can't say it like that.
We got two of the best wide receivers in the league, so
okay. Point taken. I'm picking the Eagles. I mean, I don't even like. I told y'all, man. When I looked at the rest of this schedule, I'm like, yo, they got a nice little. They got a nice little run, man. And I know we talked about this in the chat. And yes, I'm gonna say it publicly. Even though y'all are undefeated, y'all are not the best team in the NFL. I still pick the Eagles in this game.
Yeah, they'll probably.
The question was, is it the Steelers or the Eagles?
I know. I just want to put a little razzle dazzle on it, just to, you know what I mean, stir up the city of Philadelphia. After I picked the Phillies to win the World Series, I'll come back and say that the Eagles ain't the best team in the NFL.
Well, listen, we don't have enough time picking on us on basketball season right now. But anyway.
Yeah, I didn't even want to get into that.
Me either. I don't
want to get into that.
I don't want to get into it.
As a Ravens fan, this is blasphemy. This is blasphemy.
You better not.
But I'm gonna take the Steelers, man.
Wow.
I like
that. Just sounds like a roll of the dice.
No, man, this is
confidence.
This is all three of us. Every time we pick the same team, we lose.
See, that I knew it was something. It was something opposite.
So y'all, hold on. So I'm saving y'all two from having to lose because Philly gonna win the game. But I'm gonna pick the Steelers. I'm gonna pick the Steelers because every time all three of us pick the same team, we lose.
That's why I picked the Niners. I was like, man, listen, I know they both gonna pick the Niners. Let me go ahead and pick the Rams.
Well, then I appreciate that. Then, well, then if everybody feel like that, then
the Niners gonna win. What that mean
Lord.
Is that mean is when we all pick the same team, that team loses.
That team loses, so I'm gonna go with the Steelers. So if that team seems to always lose, when we pick all three of us pick it. So, but also just being honest. The Steelers are still the Steelers, man. I don't care what product you see out there week in and week out. Eventually, they're going to have moments, you know. And I feel like when they got an opportunity to knock somebody off of their high horse, they take it up a notch. You know,
can I say this real
with
quick?
The Eagles, with the Eagles being undefeated, the Steelers, who are, in my opinion, terrible, this is the opportunity for them to re-energize their fan base and give them a little hope. So
Can I say this real quick?
go ahead.
Everything lines up for us to lose this game. Let me tell you what. Coming off a bye week, and the last time we was undefeated, the team that actually stopped our win streak was Big Ben and the Steelers.
So so that was it for me. I just feel like the Steelers. I just always feel like the Steelers they play better when the chips are down. You know what I mean? When it feels like everything's falling around them, they'll find a way to rise from the ashes like a phoenix. So, all right, it's up to y'all, man. I'm gonna be completely honest with you because it's all we already went over an hour. Do y'all want to talk about that dude? No. All right, then cool.
I mean,
Final thoughts then.
What dude?
Kanye.
I mean,
Kanye, man.
oh, no, this is a sports show. He's,
Well, technically, he's sports. He does have us. He does have an agency. People, players
Well,
are leaving his agency now.
Well, he ain't gonna have it for
Technically,
too
he's
long.
sports.
He ain't gonna have it too much longer. But
I'll just say one thing on it.
Go ahead.
I don't even know what I want to say on it. He's not all wrong. I'll leave it at that.
Oh,
That's all I'm gonna say. He is not all wrong.
and I will say this. I will say this. The riff that it's almost 50-50 of the black community supporting him, being against him, or whatever. I will agree with you. He's definitely not all wrong. He's definitely, in my opinion, not shedding any light on anything that if you have done your own research and dug into things that you didn't already know yourself. But that still, in my opinion, doesn't take away from the things that he has said and done. You know, and another thing that I don't like is we are not going to keep blaming everything that he does and says on mental illness. I hate that.
homie a genius.
Sometimes it's just him. it's just him being himself. It's not no mental illness that is causing him to act out that way. That's just Kanye. That's just who he is. You know. So, but the riff was to me was the most interesting thing. It's the 50, like I said, it almost 50-50 on people supporting him and just being done with him. And me and myself, I've always respected his musical abilities. I do believe that he is a musical genius. I'm gonna emphasize musical because all of the other stuff, in my opinion, is just him again, just him being him. But to me, he is a musical genius. But outside of that, I've never really dug into him or followed him outside of him making beats. I don't know a lot of his songs. I know a lot of his beats. There's a difference. So that's just where I am with it.
Kanye just being Kanye, like you said, mental health. Nah, he knows when to say things. He knows how to stay relevant. I'm gonna say that.
All right. So final thoughts, fellas. Y'all got them?
It is a
Anything?
great time to be a Philly fan. It's a great time to be from Philadelphia.
My final thought is stop paying attention. Stop paying. Don't pay so much attention to what the outside world has the distractions. Focus on your goals and yourself. Like, yo, I done seen anytime I done open up my daggone phone, is questions about Kanye. Bruh, that's another grown man. Yeah, he got billions of dollars. Yeah, he done said some stuff. But he's speaking his piece. That's not affecting my life right now. I'm and I wish other people would have like it's cool, not cool, but I mean like I get it, it's conversational or whatnot. But at the end of the day, like, yo, you it's so much other stuff going on out in this world that's a lot more serious than what Kanye said on a Drink Champs interview. And let's go beyond that. Like yeah, that's all I got to say. What just happened? Oh,
Me playing around messing with stuff. My bad.
I thought if I hit something, I hit the button. I said, "Oh, what the hell I did?"
My bad. My bad. I hit one button. I was like, oh, how do I get this off of here?
and
My
another
phone.
thing. Hold on.
Oh, go ahead,
I'm
bro.
sorry.
Speak your piece.
Yo, like if my man has an opinion in his thought process or whatnot, he's entitled to that. And I think that when you start asking the questions of do you agree or disagree or whatever the case may be, it creates division. And like Biff said, you've got the whole black community split. I mean, like one thing that we can unify is the fact that he is one of the few black billionaire. Well, he was, I guess, at one time. And other than music, he's created lanes, jobs for different people. So, I mean, even in that aspect, we are not going to agree on everything of how we look at things prospectively. But the one thing that we can agree on is that he pushed and elevated hip hop music, and he's one of the ones that's got a B when it comes to his net worth, and he's doing well with business. So,
Dang, Tamant.
salute to him as a black man to a black man.
That's why I said the reason I want to talk about because I literally just had this conversation like last week, right? And I said people clown me for it. He's the most influential person from in hip hop.
Nah, that's debatable, bro. That's
It could be musically. He his clothing line. He has $1 billion clothing line. He impacts sports. Like we can talk about Jay, but Jay doesn't have the clothing line like with Stay Property Rockaware did it but Kanye has done topped it. What he has done is top it. He got kids
fact.
out here. He got kids out here really follow like it's cultish. Kanye literally has it's cultish what he has.
Oh, most definitely.
That's influence.
Because I don't know too many black people that's going to wear a White Lives Matter shirt and black people still bang with him. So, just being real.
Not saying if it's a good influence or a bad influence, but
influence is influence.
The most influential person in hip hop.
He's definitely up there.
Man, people out here wearing shower shoes, bro.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say, never mind. Never mind. I'm not gonna say nothing about that. My final thought. I had one, so I'm not gonna say that one now. I'm gonna say that one for another time. But I'll say this as my final thought. And I know Dom's gonna enjoy this one. If things continue to go this way, Mike D'Antoni will be the head coach of the 76ers before Christmas.
Sounding good. Sounding good.
So
wow.
That's just saying it. All right. So well, if nothing else to be said, fellas, that is the show for tonight. Till next time, people, speak on it. Peace.